Hello, friends. Welcome to our YouTube channel, yours truly G. And today we are starting a new and most important topic, which is software engineering. And we are going to cover all the previous year questions, most important questions related to software engineering. Okay, so this is nowadays a very important topic, and you can expect around 3 to 4 questions related to software engineering out of 60 questions in IBPS IT officer mains examination. And if you have 100 questions, then you can expect around 7 to 8 questions as well. So this is very important topics nowadays. And those who are watching our video for the first time, I would request you guys to please subscribe my channel, hit the like button, and write your comments. Okay. And we are also covering computer network and information security topics simultaneously. And those who are watching our video from the first day, those can relate that we can already covered part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5 of computer network and information security topic. So I would request you guys to watch those videos as well, because again, computer network and information security is also a very hot topic nowadays. So coming to software engineering, and there is a unique approach we are going to follow. So we will cover all the previous year questions that already been asked in many competitive examination, and we'll try to learn the concept from those previous questions only. Okay, and that is the best way. I'm telling you to learn the concept very fast and to crack any examination. Okay, so let's quickly get started into that. Okay. So our first question, I have taken all the previous year question in terms of question 1, question 2, question 3, and all those things. So our first question is CMM, which is capability maturity model, has how many levels actually? The question was how many levels are present in CMM, capability maturity model. Sometimes they will ask the abbreviation. What is the abbreviation of CMM, which is nothing but capability maturity model? So it has 5 maturity level. The first level is initial, second level is repeatable, third is defined, fourth is managed, and fifth is optimized. So what they are asking, and what they can ask is like, what is the level 3 in CMM model, or what is the level 4 in CMM model? So all the level you have to remember it. So level 1 is initial, level 2 is repeatable, level 3 is defined, level 4 is managed, level 5 is optimized. And I just wanted to give you a brief about what is CMM actually. What is the practical meaning for that? So have you heard about any company, right? Like for example, TCS or Infosys, it's a CMM 5 level company. Means that is, they can able to do all the level 5 things. If the company can able to do all this level 5, they comes under the category of CMM level 5. Suppose there are few company which are CMM 4, means they can do initial, repeatable, define, manage, but they are not doing any processes related to optimize. If the company is level CMM 3, it means they can do the processes till level 1, level 2, level 3. So in this way we can define any organization level or any organization maturity level, like yes, this organization comes at a CMM 5 level, or this organization comes under CMM 4 level. So such type of things you can do with the help of CMM. Okay, so that you have to remember it. What are the levels involved in CMM? You have to remember it. Very important question. It is already asked in many competitive examination, like what is level 3 in CMM? So that is defined. What is level 4 in CMM model, which is nothing but a managed? What is level 5 is optimized? So they will ask any level out of 5 sometimes. Okay, so that you have to remember it. Again, the most important next question is coupling and cohesion. As I told, these all are the very two important terms related to software engineering. One is coupling and one is cohesion. So let's first discuss what is cohesion basically. So cohesion is nothing but it is a measure of degree to which element of a module are functionally related. Suppose there is a module, one module is there. So how these elements are functionally related in a particular module is nothing but a cohesion. And what is coupling? It is a measure of degree of independency or interconnection between modules. Suppose two modules are there. So how these two modules are interconnected, this defines basically the coupling. So for a better process, or for better system, cohesion should be maximum and coupling should be minimum. That you have to remember it. It's already asked in many competitive examination, like for creating a best system or best model, what should be maximum and what should be minimum. So coupling should be minimum and cohesion should be maximum for designing a best process, or for designing a best model. So now our first question is like this one. You have to understand, like, cohesion should be maximum and coupling should be minimum. This is the first point that you have to remember it, related to cohesion and coupling. The second important point is, okay, now we understood, like, for coupling should be minimum. Okay, so in this coupling also there are different types of coupling. So here you don't have to remember all the coupling. What here you have to remember is, they will ask in coupling what will be the most desirable and what should be the least desirable. So for the coupling, the most desirable thing would be data coupling, and the least desirable thing will be content coupling. So that two thing you have to remember it, because they will ask three types of question here. First question is, what would be the best way to create a best model for that. So first is, cohesion should be maximum and coupling should be minimum. This is the first thing you have to remember it, related to coupling and cohesion. The second thing is, they will ask in coupling, what is the most desirable thing we can do that, or what is the least desirable thing present we have to consider in coupling. So the most desirable is data coupling, and the least desirable is content coupling. That you have to remember it. Okay, so this is, and again, in terms of cohesion, the most desirable cohesion would be functional cohesion. We want functional cohesion should be high in any cohesion. Okay, and we want coincidental cohesion should be least as possible. So here three things you have to remember it. You don't have to remember all the coupling. They will not going to ask, all the coupling. What they will ask is, and what they are asking is, first of all, what is the most desirable coupling in the coupling types. So first is data coupling, and the least desirable is content coupling. The most desirable cohesion would be functional cohesion, and the least desirable cohesion will be coincidental cohesion. Okay, so that is the two things you have to remember. And for the best model, or for the best optimum model, your cohesion should be maximum and coupling should be minimum. That 3 to 4 point you have to remember it. Believe me, just try to solve the questions related to software engineering. You will find a lot of questions related to coupling and cohesion, and all these questions will be like, what is how cohesion should be maximum or coupling should be minimum, the most desirable in coupling, most desirable in cohesion. Such type of question you will see in all those multiple choice questions. So here in first slide, we have seen 3 to 4 questions, and these all are very important question. Again, I am telling you, I am just covering previous year question, and I believe in order to crack any competitive examination, this is the best way basically to cover each and every topic. So let's come to the next slide of the previous year question. Yes, so then the next question is related to cyclomatic complexity. Okay, so this is also very important question. Basically, in many competitive examination, it's asking what is the formula of cyclomatic complexity. Basically, they will give you a four option, and in those four options, they will interchange some plus or minus sign, like E minus n plus 2p, E plus n minus 2p. Such type of permutation and combination they will create, and they will confuse if you don't know the exact formula of cyclomatic complexity. So let's first understand what is cyclomatic complexity. So cyclomatic complexity is nothing but it is a software metric that provide a quantitative measure of logical complexity of a program. Suppose I have a program. So how you will determine the complexity of that program? So for determining the complexity, for measurement of the complexity, logical complexity of a program, we have a method which is nothing but a cyclomatic complexity. So cyclomatic complexity is given by a very important formula which is nothing but E minus n plus 2p. That you have to remember it. This is very important formula asked in many competitive examination. What is the cyclomatic complexity formula? So E minus n plus 2p, where E is nothing but number of edges, n is nothing but number of nodes, and p is nothing but number of connected components. So that you have to remember it. Cyclomatic complexity is a very important and frequently asked question related to software engineering, guys. So that is the best way actually. If you are going through the topics and if you're going to the theory, I think this is best way we can crack those examination because we are getting the previous year question. We can get the concept because the question previous year question teaches a lot basically. So cyclomatic complexity is one of the important questions related to software engineering. Now, the next question is COCOMO model. So the COCOMO model stand for constructive cost model. Okay, as the name suggests, it's going to, for the cost estimation basically. So it's basically a software cost estimation model through which we can estimate the cost of the software model. What will be the cost or what will be the estimation code we can predict through this model. So what is important here related to COCOMO model is two things. One is basically it's a COCOMO model. They will give you a four option like COCOMO model is used for what? So this is used for the cost estimation basically. Okay, this is used for the cost estimation. And the second most important point related to COCOMO model is in software cost estimation, best estimation is related to it's already asked in 3 to 4 competitive examination like cost of similar projects already completed. So there were four options. So you have to select the correct answer. And the question was in order to determine the cost estimation in software engineering, what would be the best estimation related to? So how you will determine the cost estimation? So the best way to determine is the cost of similar projects already completed. What is the cost of similar project that I have already completed? In this way, we can determine the cost estimation. So this also comes under the cost estimation. That's why I have kept this point under COCOMO model because COCOMO model is also nothing but it's a cost estimation model. So 2 points you have to remember it. How you will, what is the best way to estimate the cost of any software model is to cost of similar projects already completed. You have to determine, okay, I have what will be the cost of this model. So I will see, okay, which all are the models that already completed and which are matching with my current model. So by looking at that cost, we can predict, okay, this will also be the cost of the present project. So that is the best way to determine the cost of any software model. And second is COCOMO model is related to which one? So COCOMO model is nothing but it's a cost estimation model. So, okay, so that you have to remember it. And the next question is related to ISO. Okay, so they will nowadays they are asking a question related to ISO as well. They are giving some ISO number like ISO 9002 or ISO 9000-3 is related to what. So you have to remember it. So there are few standard 3 to 4 ISO models. We have to ISO standard that we have to understand, learn under software engineering. We don't have to learn all those things because there are many ISO standards available related to industries. But here with respect to software engineering we have few standard and that already asked in many previous year questions. I have mentioned that one only. I have not taken all those ISO standard. I have taken only those ISO standard that have been asked in many competitive examination. So the first one is ISO 9003, which is related to software process. Okay, so if you are able, if you are getting anything related to 9003, it's related to software process. So ISO 9003 is nothing but installation and testing. This process ensures the installation and testing. Basically, it's related to installation and testing. ISO 9002 is basically related to organization which do not design product but are only involved in production. So suppose any organization is marked by ISO 9002, it means by looking into this ISO 9002 standard, you can conclude that, okay, this organization or this company is basically involved in production. They are not doing any designing part. So this type of standard we have to understand. Suppose we have a ISO 9001 standard. So this is basically related to organization engaged in design, development, production, and servicing of goods basically. So this standard, suppose any organization is qualified by ISO 9001 standard, it means that organization can able to design, that organization can able to develop, that organization can produce, and that organization can provide the servicing of goods as well. So such type of standard you have to understand. So again, I am telling you, you have to remember it. You can create a notes for that. That would be very beneficial, because these all are the previous year question you will hardly get anywhere, and we are learning a very good concept from those questions. Okay, so these all are the three, four questions related to cyclomatic complexity, COCOMO model, and ISO standard. Okay, so now moving to the next slide, which is nothing but a very important slide, and you can expect us, one question definitely from testing, and 90 to 95% they are asking related to black box testing, white box testing, or gray box testing. That's why I have taken all this testing in a tabular manner, so that you will have a clarity in that. Okay, so the question is like, what is the difference between black box testing, gray box testing, and white box testing? Okay, so let's understand what is the difference, and this is the most important question and the most important topic, or you can say a module under the software engineering. Black box testing. Okay, in last time, in 2 months back only, SBI SO examination, in every set there was a question. In one set a question was from black box testing, in another set a question was from white box testing. So this is very important thing. Okay, so let's understand, and I would also recommend you to write it down in your notebook. That would be a good way. Okay, so what is black box testing? Okay, so black box testing is like the internal working of an application need not be known. Okay, in black box testing we don't have the knowledge of internal structure. We are not in a position to predict the what's happening in the backend basically. Okay, white box testing has a full knowledge of the internal working of the application. In white box testing, you should have a full knowledge of the internal structure, how this application has been created. So all those information you should have to know in order to do the white box testing. And gray box testing is nothing but basically, in a generalized way, we can say that it's a combination of black box testing and white box testing. So here what happening is the tester has limited knowledge of the internal working of the application. The tester has not the full knowledge, he has a limited the knowledge of the internal structure. So that you have to understand it. The second point is, this is very important thing basically. This is also known as closed box testing, data driven testing, or a functional testing. Okay, already asked in many competitive examination, like functional testing is also known as black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing, UAT testing, whatever. They will give you a four options. So the correct option would be black box testing. So you have to remember each and every point. White, like black box testing is also known as closed box testing, data driven testing, and functional testing. Okay, coming to the white box testing, it is also known as clear box testing, structural testing, or a code based testing. Okay, and gray box testing is also known as translucent testing. As I told, it's a combination of black box and white box. That's why we are giving another name, which is nothing but translucent testing, as the tester has limited knowledge of the inside application. Okay, now coming to the next point related to black box testing, this is performed by end user and also by tester and developers. Okay, why it is performed by the end user, you can now predict, because here we don't have to worry about the internal structure. We don't have to worry about the internal programming or algorithm or anything related to backend. So an end user can also perform this. But if you are looking into the white box testing, normally done by the testers and developers. Okay, the professionals who are involved in creating those application can able to do the white box testing, because it requires the in-depth knowledge of the internal structure. Coming to gray box testing, performed by end user, tester, and developer, since it's basically a combination, so you can easily understand why this is done by end users as well. Now testing is based on external expectation, and internal behavior of the application is unknown. Okay, it's already understandable because here we don't have to go into the backend structure, so we are just expecting the external result should become like, suppose if I am running any application, if suppose the application will result me into the username and password. If it is showing, we just have to check, okay, whether it is showing in the UI level username or password or not. And if it is showing, it means we have done the black box testing. But we are not worrying about what happening in the the web server and all those things. So such type of thing we have to do in the white box testing. In white box testing, internal working are fully known, and the tester can design test data accordingly. Okay, so as you know that for doing the testing, we should have a test data, we should have a steps that we have to follow it. Suppose we are testing any application, there will be a predefined test, like how to do that. So you can do this by manual testing or automation testing. That's a different part. So in white box testing, basically, internal working tester should know the fully working of the internal structure. Okay, so that you can understand it. It is exhaustive and the least time consuming. Definitely it will be a least time consuming because we are just worried about the external result or external expectation. This is the most exhausting and time consuming type of testing because here we have to test the internal structures as well. We have to, if any bug is occurred or anything has happening, then we have to fix that the internal structures as well. And this is basically a combination, like you can see that it's vastly time consuming and exhaustive, not suitable for algorithm testing. As I told, since we are just dealing with the outer structure, so we are not having the enough knowledge about the algorithm, so it's not suitable for algorithm testing. It's suitable for algorithm testing, that you have to understand it. And the last but not least is this can be done by trial and error method. Definitely, suppose for testing anything, we have taken any input. If it is not working, then we'll take another input and we'll try to test the result. But here in white box testing, data domains and internal boundaries can be better tested. Okay, so that type of thing you have to remember related to black box testing. The overall, you can say that it's related to the it's in black box testing, internal structure is hidden. Okay, in white box testing, is internal structure is not hidden. And what are the different names associated with black box testing, that you have to remember it, they will ask. Okay, so I hope black box testing, gray box testing, and white box testing is now clear for everyone, because it's very important. Again, I am telling you, just write do in these points and the question will be from these points only. Okay, so now moving to the next slide, which is also very important question. I'm only taking very important and previously asked question, because in this way we can cover up the syllabus very quickly, and we can excel in the examination. So let's move to the next question, which is nothing but what is verification and validation. This is the most confusing thing actually. In general, we can say that if you ask any question, this verification and validation term to a general person, they will ask these are one and the same thing. But there is a difference between verification and validation. And what they are asking basically is they are asking this option basically. In many competitive examination, I have seen what they are asking is verification is what? So verification is nothing but are you building it right? And verification, validation is are you building the right thing? So that is two important thing you have to understand very minutely. Here the right comes at the end actually, and here right is coming at the beginning. So that you have to remember it, because they are asking the same thing. Just a search in any internet or something, you will find this is standard definition of the verification, and this is the standard definition of validation. So you have to remember it. What is verification? Verification is like, are you building it right? And validation is, are you building the right thing? These all are minute differences there that you have to understand it. The second term is ensure that the software system meets all the functionality, and here ensure that the functionality meet the intended behavior. So what is happening here is like, in verification we are just checking, like whatever the suppose we have created, we are just testing a particular application. In that particular application, whether for a particular function all the things are meeting the criteria or not. Okay, for particular function. But for validation, we are ensuring that the all the functionality meet the intended behaviors basically. Okay, verification takes place first and include the checking of documentation, code, and etc. Okay, सबसे पहले the first thing happens is verification. Validation occur after verification. That you have to understand it. After verification, validation occurs. So first step is verification. Verification includes checking of documentation, code, and all those things. First, we have to check. Once we have checked, then we are ensuring whether all those things are meeting our what we are expecting the behavior from any application or any function, that is meeting or not. That is validation basically. Okay, so mainly involve the checking of the overall product basically. As I told, in verification, what happening is, suppose there are overall product, there are four modules are there. Okay, if you are summing up four module, we will get an overall application. So verification is like we are verifying each and every module, and once we have verified each and every module, then we will do a validation for the overall product. Okay, so that is different thing. That is the difference between verification and validation. So verification is done by the developer. As I told, suppose we are testing each and every module, so module testing is done by developers. Okay, there are various codes and algorithms are involved. So that is done by verification developers, and the overall testing is done by the testers. Okay, it has a static activity. It's include collective review, walkthrough, inspection to a variety of software. So what is this collective review and walkthrough is like, suppose we have to interview our users, or if we have to interview our client, that what are their expectations, like they are expecting such thing from this particular product. So all those things can be done, those things are collected by a developer, because finally they are going to develop it. So they will go through a different interview session or walkthrough session and inspect what are the requirement from the client. And once they have done this, because that's why it's involved various static activities. And validation is nothing but it's a dynamic activity, as it includes executing of the software against the requirement. And once we got the initially we got the requirement, because the requirement analysis is very important step in software engineering. Unless and until we can't get an exact requirement, we can't make a product suitable for that particular client. So first of all, we have received the requirement, developer started creating the product, and at the end we just have to test whether these are fulfilling our requirements or not. So that is validation. Okay, so these two important terms you have to remember it. Question basically yahi पूछा गया है, are you building it right, and are you building the right thing? They will ask validation is what. So this is the standard definition. You have to remember it. Okay, guys. So this was only the part one of the software engineering. I have mentioned a couple of questions related to this. All are previous year questions, and that is going to be a series in software engineering as well. We will upload part two, part three, part four, all the previous year questions related to software engineering. So please be tuned with us. Subscribe to our channel, and we will complete each and every topics in a very smart way, that's for sure. Okay, so again I am requesting you, please subscribe my channel, share with your friends, hit the like button, and write your comments, your valuable comments. Okay, thank you for watching my video. Thanks again.